Hi everyone. Since my intro video has a whopping 6 views so far, I thought it was time to make another one. It's been a long time already. It's already been a couple of weeks. I haven't gotten going with the idea of making videos, making my music covers, my acoustic guitar sitting to my right off camera. Um, I'll get there. I'll get there. Like I said before, I'm not trying to make it my identity, but I am a grieving dad who's anything I do right now, even though it's been 14 months, anything I do right now feels like some kind of victory. And that's not looking for sympathy. It's just that's just me being open and honest. But in any case, I'm a really big hockey fan. I'm a hockey player. I play in an oldie league right now up here in North Bay as a sub. I'm having a lot of fun with that. Hockey's been a really big important part of my life for a very long time. So I know that there's a ton of hockey content. A lot of it comes from guys who are lifelong fans only, guys that play in beer leagues but can't skate. And with all due respect, a lot of people are gobbling up these opinions and treating people that analyze analytics and that watch the game and yell and scream at the game as though they're some kind of celebrity, and that's fine. It's no sour grapes from me, because if you can make an income and make a living and make a name for yourself by simply being really great at being a fan, that's awesome. But on the other hand, there's a lot of guys with a ton of playing experience that I just don't agree with their opinions. But I do find that most of the time, if someone's played the game, even if they didn't get to the show, they don't all have to get to the NHL to have a great opinion, to have a valid opinion. The guys that got to junior, guys that got even to try out for junior, guys that got to play in the OHL, guys that have went to the States or to, pardon me, Europe, or guys that have played, and women too. I'm not trying to discount women, but people who have played at high levels, trust what they say. Stop pushing back because you've watched so much hockey and you know. No, you don't. Stop pushing back on the opinions of experts, or forget about the word experts. Stop pushing back on people who have experienced the game at high levels, have traveled through their country, through their province or state, through their country, to other countries. If you know people who've done that to play this game, whether they're great or not, whether they look better than you at pickup, they know better than you. It's a thing. Humility is an important thing. And on that note, as I surf, the odd Instagram reel or whatever else is out there, then you see these clips of Alexander Ovechkin slowly but surely, taking one step, another step closer and closer and closer to grabbing that Wayne Gretzky goal scoring record, which a lot of people for some reason think goal scoring is like the thing. And it is hard to score goals at that level. The NHL, absolutely, incredibly difficult. You're an immense hockey talent when you put numbers up in the NHL. That's something that not everybody gets. But anyway, Ovechkin is getting there and getting there, and he's getting up there in age too, getting there. And he's played a ton of games, and he continues to score goals, and he's had a fantastic season, and he's overcome, a broken leg where people are like, how the heck did he do that? How the hell did this guy? Whatever, he's a machine. Good for him. But there's a thing that keeps happening. There's a common thread that I keep on seeing. It's a little disappointing, and it's this whole thing of like, yeah, but Wayne Gretzky played in an era when the goalies sucked. Wayne Gretzky played in an era where, like, look how bad those skaters, look how poorly they skate. Or you get guys that post things like, I could score 100 goals back then. Or it's like, okay, it's lunacy. So, first of all of this inter-era comparison for sports, I'm not sure why this is so challenging for people, but it's all moot. None of it matters because you quite simply can't compare intergenerationally. If I could hop in a time machine, I'm 45 years old. Okay? I was a decent competitive player, tried out for junior, didn't put in the effort. Not going to even blame my 5'5" frame. Okay? That was a little subtle blaming of it. And I played in a time where if I skated the puck out, guys could grab me by the fucking, part of my language, scuff of my jersey and pull me down, and the coaches thought they made a good play. Nowadays, that guy who's trying to skate the puck out gets praised. In any case, I could hop in a time machine and go be the best player in 1925 or 1945 even. But that's me from now, with equipment from 2025 and earlier, much earlier if you're talking about me, but that's me who's been trained in the modern era, who learned how to skate, in the 80s, but whatever, I'm old-ish, That's me with all the benefits of the modern day game and equipment and training. Again, I'm repeating that. So you get these guys that grew up in an era where composite sticks were normal and the types of technology for skates and other equipment, it's just out of this world, even just compared to like the 90s. Never mind the 80s when a guy named Wayne Gretzky was dominating the NHL. We forget you can't compare eras because when you say things like, well, Ovechkin, if he played when Gretzky played, which okay, it wasn't a tremendous gap, 5 or 6 years between when Gretzky stopped and he. In any case, oh, he would dominate. He would run those guys over. He would score so many goals. He'd shoot holes in those goalies. Okay, hold on. In order for Ovechkin to be playing in, the 80s and dominating, as we say, that means in the 50s and 60s, that's when he would have been born, or the 60s, pardon me, that's when he would have been born and developing in that day and age of hockey, with that equipment, with that understanding of human, kinesiology and physiology, with that level of training that would have been available, with those hours of ice time that would have been available to him, and again, the coaching and the equipment and the understanding of the game. People they didn't even play systems back then. Okay, which I mean they did, but okay, I understand what you're saying. The game has evolved and evolved and evolved, but we need to stop with this. It's nonsense where you compare how someone's doing now and you think you can magically morph them, put them in a time machine, and then bring them to 50 years ago. If you're doing that, of course he'll destroy. But with that logic, there's guys that play in a beer league that could go. If you put them in a time machine, there's guys that could play that could play in the 80s NHL that I gotta play against in a beer league because of how much the game has grown and evolved. But you can't do that because those guys that right now could go back in time and dominate the NHL if they were raised under the conditions that the 80s NHLers were raised in and under, they wouldn't be who they are as a player in 2025. I maybe it's a bit of a challenging, thing to wrap your head around, but like Wayne Gretzky did what he did, dominated the NHL in multiple ways. You don't have to like him, right? But winning and statistics are very hard things to argue against. And the type of domination he has, at least statistically, it's really hard to argue. Again, it doesn't have to be your favorite. But the idea that he played in an age where everybody sucked, where nobody could defend, where the goalies were terrible, if that were all true, then everyone else should have been, or at least some more than a few guys, should have been nipping at his heels. Then he shouldn't have been light years ahead statistically, and he should have been dominating. Yeah, he had a good team with him. Sure, he did. So do most perennial stars in any sport have a pretty good team with them. And people can argue with me about that if they want. But bottom line, this era-to-era comparison is absolutely ridiculous. And if you drop, and we're picking on Ovechkin, and I'm not trying to, it's just because this is really hot right now. If you drop Alex Ovechkin into the 80s with modern day equipment, like right now, put him in a time machine, absolutely, he dominates. But if he has to be raised in the same systems, with the same technology, with the same coaching, with the same training available, he maybe does nothing at all. Maybe looks like a regular NHLer. Maybe scores a bunch of goals. I don't know. But you can't simply say, oh, he would kick the shit out of everybody in that era, because he doesn't come from that era. He does not come from that era. And he would have been subjected to the same conditions that everyone else in that era was subjected to. And with that understanding, nobody else did it like Wayne Gretzky did. And similar things can be said for everybody else in the game. I got to keep in mind, if I parachute myself back to the 20s, guys didn't know how to skate backwards yet. What the heck does that mean? So, I don't mean the 1920s, by the way. So, anyway, those are my thoughts. If you're watching this and you want to clap back, by all means, have fun. Or just accept that you're wrong. But this is me trying to go through some topics that don't matter, while I deal with something that really does matter. Anyway, I would like to hear people's thoughts about it, although I have a bad feeling I know what the argument will be. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope if you didn't understand before, maybe you just humbly take a minute to try to figure that out. And if you don't give a shit and you want to just chew me out, have fun. Okay? Thanks for watching.